Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down. Wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio, and it is here. The NFL season kicks off tomorrow night at SoFi Stadium with the team many think is the favorite to win the Super Bowl in the Buffalo Bills against the team that is the defending Super Bowl champions in the Los Angeles Rams. And this should be one heck of a game between these two teams. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a competitive game. But I do think the difference in this game is going to be the quarterback position. I think that's the biggest reason why the Rams, the Bills are a 2-point favorite in this game, 2.5-point favorite in this game, is because they got the better quarterback in this game of Josh Allen. And I don't know if Matthew Stafford's 100%. I don't think he's 100% because I don't think the Rams would be underdogs at home as the defending Super Bowl champions. I know the Bills are a great team, but I don't think the Rams would be underdogs at home as being defending Super Bowl champions if Matthew Stafford was 100%. But in this game, I think the reason the Bills win it is I think it's going to be because they're going to get pressure on Stafford. I think the Rams will get a pretty good running game going with Henderson and with Cam Akers, but I think this pass rush, especially the guy they had on their team last year, Von Miller, I think he's going to get pressure on Stafford, force a couple turnovers, and I think Josh Allen's going to play a really good game. I don't think they'll play a great game because the Rams got a good defense. I think he'll play a good game. I think he'll play a really good game. I think Diggs will have a touchdown pass. I know the touchdown reception. I know that Jalen Ramsey could be on him, but he's not going to be on him all night because the Rams play a lot of zone coverage, and Ramsey usually doesn't travel with the best receiver. The Rams like to play their cover 3, their zone coverage. So I think that this is a really, really close competitive game. It comes right down to the end, but I do think that the Bills defense and Von Miller make a play at the end of this game. What they didn't do last year, they make a play at the end, and they beat the Rams 27-20 at SoFi Stadium Thursday night. But Justin, can the Rams carry the momentum from last year and start 1-0?
I don't think they do as well. I got the Bills going on the road, winning this one 31-24. As you mentioned, I don't know how healthy Matthew Stafford is. I know he's dealing with that elbow, it seems like, mostly off season. They don't bring Odell back. I think that often to be okay. I think, we mentioned the Bills defense is going to be a bit better. The Bills defense has got a little bit better. Bringing Von Miller is going to be big. I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to make enough stops. The two the two games, the last two times we saw the Bills in the playoffs, they put up 83 points against the Patriots and the Chiefs, and very well should have been in the AFC Championship game. So I think it's to be a little bit too much for the Rams. I think this Bill team's really, really good. I think it's a lot of people's kind of favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. So I got the Bills going on the road this week and knocking off the Rams 31-24.
Yeah, and the NFL really got it right with this matchup being the opening game. I really, really love the fact this matchup's the opening game. As I said to start the show, you got the defending Super Bowl champions against a team a lot of people think are going to win the Super Bowl, and it really should be a great game. I mean, you're definitely going to see Ramsey and Diggs. You're not going to see it all night, but you're definitely going to see that. You're going to see that Aaron Donald trying to chase down Josh Allen. That's what's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun watching Aaron Donald trying to chase down Josh Allen. I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, the big story with Von Miller. I know he didn't play for a long time with the Rams, but facing his former team, I'm just really, really excited to see that. That's good. That's gonna be really exciting as well. I'm so pumped up for this opener. I am so excited. I'm just so excited they picked the Bills to be the team they were going to open the season against. I'm fired up for this opener.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the best openers I think we've had the last couple of years. I know the Bucs and Cowboys turned into a really good matchup last year, but I know going in, because the Cowboys had some injuries, it wasn't like a highly anticipated matchup. But yeah, this has been one of the best kind of openers to a season, probably in recent memory, feels like. So yeah, these two, absolutely could be meeting each other again in the Super Bowl to end it. They could be starting off the season and absolutely could be ending the season as well, playing in the Super Bowl. So yeah, the NFL, they usually get things right like this. They always know how to really make things interesting with their scheduling, and they did it with these two teams facing off as well to start the year.
Oh, absolutely. And I picked these two teams to play in the Super Bowl. This was my pick. I have these two teams playing in the Super Bowl, so I really think this is going to be fun. It's going to come right down to the end. I think either way, it's coming right down to the end because these teams are well coached and they got really good rosters as well. So I think this game comes right down to the end. But I think the difference, as we said earlier, the quarterback play, and I just don't think Matthew Stafford's 100%. I really do. He didn't play all preseason. You see the line. Bills 2.5. They're 2.5 point favorites. The Vegas, I think, knows something we don't. I personally don't think Stafford's going to be 100% tomorrow night, but I still think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I do think Stafford's – I think Vegas does know something we don't about Stafford with that line. Because, I think the Rams probably would be the favorite in this game. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a huge kind of piece in this game to see how healthy it is and, how much could they throw the ball and can the Rams get back to the running game, and how healthy, are those running backs for LA, who were really banged up last year. So, yeah, it should be a great game. And I do think whoever has the ball last in this game has a great chance of winning it.
Absolutely. Whoever has the ball, you think whoever has the ball last, I think honestly, it's going to be whatever team has the ball last. I think one of these two big-time players on defense is going to make a play. I think Von Miller's going to make a play. If the Rams have the ball last, I think Von Miller's going to make a play for the Bills. And if the Bills have the ball last, I think Aaron Donald's going to make a play, just like he always does. Aaron Donald's going to make a play at the end of that game. He did in the Super Bowl against the he got pressure in the Super Bowl against the Bengals, and he did get that pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo to force the interception. So whichever team has the ball last, I think that the either Von Miller or Aaron Donald's going to make a play at the end.
Yeah, I completely see that happening as well. Von Miller and Aaron Donald are two of the best defensive players out there. They're both game changers on that side of the ball, and yeah, they can impact the result of this game. So, yeah, absolutely, I could see those two making a big time play late in this game to seal the deal for their team.
Going from this year's opening game to last year's opening game, as we remember, the Bucs and Cowboys played in the opening game last year. They'll play in the Sunday night game this year. And a lot of people are saying it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game. I personally think the Bucs are winning this by a couple scores. And hear all the nonsense about Tom Brady. Oh, he's going to be checked out. No, he's not. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be ready to dominate like he normally is. And I don't think it's going to be any different on Sunday night in Dallas. I think that Brady's going to have a really good game. Yes, Chris Godwin might not play, but the Bucs. I think Tom Brady will make Julio Jones Tom Brady will do what he always does: make Julio Jones better, make Scotty Miller better. I think Mike Evans has a pretty good game too. I think Fournette does enough on the ground. And the thing was, I think the Bucs defense completely, just like they did last year, completely shuts the Cowboys down on the ground. And I think the difference this year for Dak is he doesn't have the talent around him in this game. Last year, he had Tyron Smith in this game. He had Lyle Collins in this game. He had Amari Cooper in this game. He had Michael Gallup in this game. He doesn't have any of those guys this year, and that's why I think that Tampa wins this game. I think they win it by 2 scores. I think the defense completely shuts down the ground. The Cowboys completely shuts down Ezekiel Elliott. I think the pass rush of the Bucs gets pressure on Dak Prescott because we know that Cowboy offensive line is really, really shaky, and I think that forces Dak to have a couple turnovers. And I think Brady throws a couple touchdown passes. He has a solid game. That's why I got the Bucs going to 1-0, beating the Cowboys 30-17 Sunday night in Dallas. But Justin, can Dak Prescott have another great game against the Bucs and lead the Cowboys to an upset?
I think to be very challenging for Dak Prescott to do that. I do have the Bucs win this game 31-24. I do think Dallas keeps it close. They're not as talented. I know Gallup's probably not going to play in this game either. But, yeah, I think it's the offensive line really is going to hurt Dallas in this game. We saw last year the big problem. They're the most, penalized unit in the league last year. Again, we saw the first preseason game they had 17 penalties. If they can somehow give Dak time, then, yeah, I could totally see Dallas having a really good chance of maybe pulling this one out. But I just think that to be very, very difficult to do in this game. I do think Dak's going to be running for his life. I do think they do put up some points. I know Tampa's secondary gotten a little bit better, and I know they're not as banged up as they were last year, but I do think Dallas still can put up some points here. But, yeah, I just think Tom Brady and that Buccaneers offense, it'd be too much to handle. As you mentioned, yeah, I'm not worried about whatever's going on with Tom Brady right now. That, the minute he steps on that football field, that's all going away for him. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I think Tampa Bay finds a way to win this one 31-24.
And you know as well as anyone, Tom Brady will be fine. He'll be fine Sunday night. He'll have a big game. He'll be fine. And you talked about the penalties. That's a major issue. That's a major issue for the Cowboys. That's why that's the biggest reason why I don't have them making the playoffs is the lack of discipline on the football team. And I don't think Mike McCarthy is the right coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's why I think you're going to see on Sunday night a very, very a team that is a Super Bowl contender against an average football team. I think that's what you're going to see in the Sunday night game. Everybody's hyping it because it's the Dallas Cowboys. I am so sick and tired of the Cowboys hype. And you look at this Cowboy team. This is a team that went 12-5, won the NFC East last year, but also lost three key players in Lyle Collins, Amari Cooper, and Randy Gregory, and didn't really replace them at all. And I think that's going to show up Sunday night. That's why I love the Bucs in this game. If you're a betting man, you better be taking that 2.5. This is Tom Brady against the Dallas Cowboys. You better be taking that 2.5.
Yeah, I know that's another low line. I was surprised it's that low, but yeah, it's Dallas. I guess because it is Dallas, maybe But yeah, the Cowboys team, yeah, I think it's average. I think I had them at 8 and 9, something like that. Yeah, I think in that division they could still stick around until the very end. But yeah, Dallas lost some key guys in the offseason. Jerry Jones, Mike Clark, they didn't do a great job building, getting guys back, and that Elliott contract, I think, has been holding him up the last couple of years. That hasn't turned into a good contract for him at all. And I think that's really hurt them. So, yeah, I think Dallas, the average team, again, that division, I could see them hanging on right to the very end. But, Dallas has some work to do. And, yeah, McCarthy should be on the hot seat. But, again, I don't know. But who knows with Jerry Jones because, Jerry Jones is still calling all the shots. And if he can keep McCarthy as his puppet, he may keep him around as long as he did with Jason Garrett.
I think McCarthy's seat is very, very warm going into this season because you look at what the Cowboys could get in Sean Payton. Now, I don't know if Sean Payton's going to go there, but I think McCarthy's seat is really warm because of what the Cowboys could very easily get next season if McCarthy gets fired.
Yeah, I could totally see it. I don't know if Sean Payton would go to Dallas. I know that's always been the spot he's been rumored to go. But he's not going to, he's going to want to run his own show. He's not going to listen to Jerry Jones. I don't think that's going to mix very well because I don't think Jerry Jones wants somebody going in there and making their own decisions. So I think it'd be great for Dallas. I think that's a piece that's a huge thing that Dallas has been missing the last 25 to 20, the last actually almost 30 years now. That's what they've been missing as a coach like that. But with Jerry Jones still running the show, I'm not sure if Sean Payton would go there. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens. See what season the Cowboys have, and if it comes to that, but that's long. That we are months away from talking about from having a discussion about that. But we got to move on to an AFC East matchup between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins have given the Patriots, even when Brady was there, a lot of trouble down in Miami. We all remember that miracle. You probably remember well the miracle at the Miami Miracle. You probably remember the game in 2015 that the Patriots, which cost them the number 1 seed. But recently, the Dolphins, let's be real, have completely owned the Patriots since 2020. They've beaten them. They've beaten them 3 straight times. They've beaten them 4 of the last 5 times. So the Dolphins definitely have had the Patriots number. And I think this is a really, really close competitive game. But I think that continues on Sunday. I think with Mike McDaniel, I think the offensive system with the run game of Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds has a really I think Chase Edmonds has a really good game on the ground. I think he rushes for almost 100 yards, which makes life easier for Tua to get the ball to Jalen Waddle, to get the ball to Tyreek Hill. And for the Patriots, I do think this is a game where they have success on offense because of the run game, and the Dolphins don't have the best front seven. I think this is a game where Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris could have really, really big games on the ground. I think Mac Jones, there's a couple of touchdown passes. I think the difference in this game is going to be, and this happened last year when they played in Foxborough. I think when the Dolphins get into the red zone, they're going to score more touchdowns than the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to settle for field goals because they don't have those skill guys in the red zone, the Kendrick Bournes, the Devontae Parkers, to beat those Dolphins corners, especially Xavier and Howard. And I would expect Xavier and Howard to be on Devontae Parker in this game, especially when they get into the red area. I would expect that to happen. So I do think it's going to be tough for the Patriots to score in the red zone. I think they're going to be kicking field goals. I think the game comes right down to the end. But I do think the Dolphins make the stop when they have to make the stop, or they have the ball to do that. That's why I got Miami winning beating the Patriots for the 5th time in 6 games, winning 27-23 on Sunday afternoon at Sunlight in Miami. But Justin, can the Patriots get the ground game going, and can the Pats defense force a couple turnovers for Mac Jones for the Patriots to snap their 3-game losing streak against the Dolphins?
I think it's possible. I do have the Dolphins winning 23-20. I think they should be able to run the football again, but up front, it just worries me. How much space could Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson get? They run up the middle. Their offensive line just is not great at the moment. With the new scheme too, they really struggled with that. The West Coast kind of, or not the Shanahan offensive style. It seems like it was a big problem. So, having 10 days since their last, 10 days after the last preseason game, we'll see how it goes or how much better they've gone at it. But I think it could be a struggle week 1. They flew down yesterday to Miami, so they'll be practicing down that heat all week. So I don't think that's going to be a big problem for them. And then on defense, if Matthew Judon can get back to the guy that he was for the first, 13, 14 weeks he was last year, I think it's very possible that Tua could throw a couple interceptions and their secondary can make some plays in this game. But I don't really know they'll be able to. I have to see Matthew Judon get back to that type of guy, and I'm not totally sure. And I think Tyreek Hill could burn us a couple of times with our secondary. Our secondary is not our strong point, especially in the defense side of the ball. So I think Miami makes a couple more plays than the Patriots do, and I think Miami does find a way to get out of home with a 3-point win.
And you brought up Matt Judon and that pass rush. And I think that's going to be. I think a big key in this game is for the Patriots to get up in front early. I think that's been a problem when they played against the Dolphins. They don't get it. Last year that was the problem. They didn't get ahead early in the game. They can get if they could start up 10-0. I feel like they'd be in good shape because then you could have Matt Judon and Dietrich White. You can get pressure on the quarterback. Because if you get behind against the Dolphins, I feel like it's going to be tough for Tua to make, because I think it's going to be tough for Tua to come back. Even though he has Tyreek Hill, he doesn't have the strongest arm. I think the biggest key for the Patriots on Sunday is get ahead early against this Dolphins team.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think last year the Miami won. I think Mac may have thrown a pick 6 on the first drive.
It was like 4-0 in the first quarter, especially in the game down in Miami.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden 14 Miami right off the bat, and even with Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones is talented enough to come from behind, but they don't have they don't have the weapons of the line to really be able to do that. So yeah, absolutely, I think it's huge, for the Patriots to try to get out to start and be able to use that running game because you mentioned the Miami defense, up front, Patriots should be able to run the ball against them, but yeah, I was just saying, their offensive line may not be able to help him as much. But yeah, Tua's not a big arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm. They do have Tyreek Hill, but yeah, can he hit him on the deep pass? I'm not. We'll find out on Sunday. So yeah, absolutely, the Patriots got to get out to that lead because the last time they beat them, first game with Cam Newton, I think they got out 10-0 or a 17-0 lead. They dominated.
Yeah, it was like 14-0, 14-3, 17-3. That was the key. They ran the ball well and they got off to a lead. They got to do that. They got to do that this week. It's imperative for them to get off to a big start. They're up. I'm going to text you. They're up like 10-14-0 early. I think they're in really good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they can get a double-digit lead to start off the game, I feel a lot better about them going in. So yeah, absolutely. If they can take a lead like that right off the bat, I feel very confident because I bet too there'll be a lot of usually there's a lot of Patriot fans down there in Miami as well. So yeah, I feel pretty confident they can get that early lead, 2-score lead. I'll feel great.
And also, if it's a close game late and it comes down to an in-game decision, I don't know how my confidence would be in Mike McDaniel he could. The one thing the Patriots do have an advantage is they have the major coaching advantage. So Mike McDaniel could make a bad in-game decision. I could see that happening too.
I could too. He's a big analytical guy. So, again, we could see some, controversial fourth downs in this game.
Total opposite from Bill. Bill. Bill's not the most.
Yes.
Is not analytical. McDaniel's very, very analytical.
Yeah, so absolutely. So yeah, I think it is a big coach matchup. But late in the game, I think for the Patriots, offensive play calling, it does worry me. Like again, are we going to be running a pitch like Florida State did Sunday night at the 1 yard line?
I know.
That's something I could see those two doing.
And you got Matty P calling those plays, so that definitely is concerning.
Yeah, that does worry me. I could see us running like a dumb pitch play at the 1 yard line, but the game's already in hand. So yeah, so that does worry me as well here, but yeah, the Patriots do have the big kind of coaching mismatch this game.
Absolutely, they definitely have a huge advantage in that department. But the Dolphins have the better roster. That's why I am taking them in the game. Now going to my team, 4:25 on Sunday. The Brian Daboll era begins for the New York Giants as they head down to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans. And I'm not feeling that confident about this game. Because the one thing we need to do really, really well is run the football with Saquon Barkley. But the problem is, last year, Tennessee, I know it might not be as good because Harold Landry is out for the season with the torn ACL, but I think this team, the Giants, are going to – I think they'll be running the ball. I think Saquon will get his yards, but I don't think he'll have a huge game. So I do think the Giants will have trouble, especially scoring touchdowns. I think they'll settle for a lot of field goals in the game. And I think with the linebacking core not being good, they're going to have trouble with Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry, I know he hasn't played in almost a year, but I think he has a big game on the ground, sets up play action for Ryan Tannehill. I do think the Giants defense will hold the Titans to field goals too, but I do think this Titans defense forces some turnovers from Daniel Jones. I think it's close until the fourth quarter. Then I think Tennessee pulls away a little bit. That's why I got the Titans beating the Giants in Brian Daboll's opening game, 26-16. But Justin, I got the Titans. But can Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley lead the Giants to their first opening day win in 6 years?
It's gonna be very tough to do that going on the road. Daniel Jones. I think the play calling to be a lot different this year than we saw last year with Joe Judge and that offense. So, can we see Daniel Jones? I thought ball security is going to be huge for both those because Tennessee last year, too, off of turnovers, with Ryan Tannehill in that offense, I think, their defense was a big part of that. If they can hold on to the football, Jones can make the right throws. Again, I've kind of said this, I think both said this, most offseason. Like the Giants do, they have some weapons. Like they do have some weapons at wide receiver for Daniel Jones that, if he can get on the ball, they could have success in the, this year. It's, the big problem is, Jones hasn't really been able to do that. He has been banged up over the years. He hasn't been able to stay entirely healthy, which has helped them. I do have the Titans win this game 24-17. I do think the Giants keep it close. I'm not a big Tannehill fan. Even with Derrick Henry in that backfield still, I think the Giants do enough to slow him down. Tannehill will keep this game close, for the Titans. I think they'll keep the Giants in it. But yeah, I do think, Barkley will get some yardage, but I think Daniel Jones probably makes that one big interception this game. Can the Giants finish in the red zone too? They, as you mentioned, the Giants have to be able to score touchdowns. That's been a huge kind of point for the Giants the last couple of years. They have not finished drives, and that's something you're going to have to do against a team that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, you brought it up. Daniel Jones has had a lot of trouble. That was a problem last year. The Giants had a lot of trouble turning those red zone opportunities into touchdowns. They kicked a lot of field goals in the red zone, so they definitely have to do that. And you talked about the receiver. They talked about the receiver, the weapons, and they are healthy. Shepard's healthy. Tony's healthy. Galladay's healthy, and they could take advantage of some of those Titans corners. But the issue is going to be, I feel like, it's going to be the interior pressure. They got to find a way to neutralize. Two players are going to have to find a way to This is pretty obvious, but two players are going to have to find a way to neutralize. On the offensive, on defense, they're going to have to try. When they're on offense, the offensive line is going to have to neutralize Jeffrey Simmons. They cannot let Jeffrey Simmons wreck this game. That's one of the you're going to see on Sunday. That is one of the most underrated defensive tackles in football. He had 8.5 sacks last year, and he's good against the run. He's one of the most underrated defensive tackles in football. And then obviously they have to find a way to contain Derrick Henry. And if they can't do that, they're not going to win the game. That's going to help Tannehill play action. But again, talking about the Giants' struggles in the red zone, Jones is going to have to take chances when he has those one-on-one matchups in the red zone with Kenny Galladay, with Sterling Shepard in the slot, and with Katavius Toney against these Titans corners. Titans, they're very good at the safety position with Kevin Byers, one of the best safeties in football, can stop the run and good against the pass. And Monty Hooker is pretty good too. But the thing about the weakness with the Titans is the corners are young and they're not that good. I think the Giants have the advantage there. The problem is, will the Giants be able to get any kind of run game going, and will the Giants be able to protect protect Daniel Jones in the game? Those are the big questions. Because I do think the Giants have the advantage on the outside, but are they going to be able to run the ball, or are they going to be able to protect? Because if they can't do those two things, the advantages that advantage they have on the outside is not going to matter. Yeah,
absolutely. Because it'll be Daniel Jones be running for Blake Barkley again. He maybe get a yard or two, and that's not really going to help. So yeah, absolutely. The Giants' offensive line's been an issue the last couple of years. I think, and with Dable and this new staff, I think the development's going to be, you're going to see it more than you have the last couple of years, which is good. But yeah, it's obviously going to take some time. Yeah, I think Tennessee up the middle. I remember Jeffrey Simmons at Mississippi State was, he was a beast at Mississippi State. Playing the SEC, he had a really good career there. So yeah, I could see him in this game being a force and kind of wrecking the game for the Giants. But yeah, that's something too. Daniel Jones under pressure. Does he, can he get rid, can he get rid of can he throw the ball away and not make that big force a throw in there? So yeah, that's going to be huge for Daniel Jones in this game, because we know this is a make or break year for Daniel Jones, and he's got to get out to that fast start so that Giants fans can maybe get some confidence in him and maybe start feeling a little bit better about him. Because it starts out ugly, it's going to be ugly for most of the year. And I know you mentioned before the show we're talking. Yeah, if it's a bad start, wouldn't shock me to see, it wouldn't shock it to see Tyrod Taylor get in there and see some playing time.
Not at all. So we'll start going through the slate. And first, we got an AFC North matchup in Cincinnati as the Pittsburgh Steelers head to Cincinnati to face the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. And in this game, I think the biggest thing for the Steelers is they're going to have probably two of their better players out. T.J. Watt. No, not out, but they're questionable. T.J. Watt is questionable, and Deontay Johnson. Those two guys are questionable for the game, and I think the Bengals are going to take advantage of that. I know Burrow couldn't play at all in the preseason. Neither did Jamar Chase, neither did T. Higgins, neither did Tyler Boyd, but I think they're going to take advantage of that. I think Joe Mixon has a big day in the ground. I think Joe Burrow throws a couple touchdown passes. So I do think the Bengals move the ball and score points. And for the Steelers, I think with Mitch Trubisky just being named the starter, I think they do a decent job moving the ball. I think Najee Harris is a decent game. I think Trubisky is okay, but the problem is they really can't keep up with the firepower that the Cincinnati Bengals offense is. I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout as the game was last year when they played in Cincinnati, but I do think the Bengals win this game by 2 scores, and I got them winning it 30-20 over the Steelers on Sunday. But Justin, can Trubisky keep up with the Bengals offense to pull the upset?
I think it'd be very difficult. I get the Bengals win this game 27-17. The offensive line for the Steelers, I think, could struggle. I think, Najee Harris, they're going to have to ask him to do a lot in this game. He's going to have a huge day to beat this Bengals team. We know what Mitch Trubisky is. I know he looked good in preseason, but again, it is still preseason. Now he's going up against a real first team here, defense of the Bengals. And, another guy they really need to step up is, George Pickens. Could he be can he be that impact guy right away like we saw him be in the preseason? If he's a guy that could have a big day, bring it 6 or 7, 8 catches, a touchdown or two. Maybe the Steelers can get this win, but I just think to be a little bit too difficult of a task with this offense. Still kind of work in progress right now. I think the Bengals just have too much firepower for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday.
Yeah, that's why I got them winning by 10 points as well. Got an NFC matchup out in Chicago as the 49ers travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. These are two quarterbacks that were taken in that 2021 NFL draft. You got Trey Lance against Justin Fields. It is Trey Lance's first start, and a lot of people think he might struggle. I just think he's playing the right team. I think the run game is going to get going with Elijah Mitchell. I think Lance will be able to get the ball to Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. And I think on defense, I think this Niners defense is going to force turnover. I know Justin Fields looked really good in his last preseason game, but I think this Niners defense is going to force a couple turnovers from Justin Fields. And that's why I got the Niners winning this game. I got them to win it by 3 scores. I got the Niners winning at 31-10. But, Justin, can the Bears defense keep them in this game? And can Justin Fields make enough plays for the Bears to pull a major upset?
The Bears defense is going to have to keep them in this game. I get the Niners win this one 20-13. I think the Bears defense does keep them in it for a bit here. I could see Lance having some struggles. Again, as you know, I still got to see it from Trey Lance before I start kind of believing him here. I know it's the right team, the right system, and they got kind of the right guys to help them out here, which is good. But I got to see him do it here. I think the Bears defense do enough. I think they could force a turnover or two in this game to keep it close. For Fields, I think he's going to struggle in this game. And I just think this 49ers defensive line is going to I think they're going to live in the backfield of Chicago. I think he's going to be running for his life. I don't think he's going to have much time. I think he's going to get sacked 4 or 5 times this game. I don't think he's going to have much time to get the ball out to his receivers. I think Montgomery's going to, have nowhere to go. And I think they're going to have to be one-dimensional because they can't run the football in this game. And I think it's going to cause some problems for him. So I do have the Niners win this game 20-13, and that could be a long day for the Bears. It's going to be a long year for the Bears, and week 1 is not an easy task for them.
It definitely isn't. So, but we got a matchup in Carolina where Baker Mayfield is playing against his former team in the Cleveland Browns. It should be a very, very interesting game in week 1. And I think this is a really close competitive game. I think that Nick Chubb has a big day on the ground. I think Christian McCaffrey has a big game on the ground. And I do think this game is close, competitive. It comes right down to the end. But I think the difference is going to be the Browns are going to get more pressure on Baker Mayfield and force and that will make Baker Mayfield make more mistakes than Jacoby Brissett. And that's why I got the Browns winning a really, really close game on Sunday, 23-20 over the Panthers. But pretty basic question here, Justin. Can Baker Mayfield get revenge against his former team?
I think he does. I got the Panthers win this thing 24-14. I think Baker has his game of his life. I think he plays really well. I know the Carolina offensive line is not great, and Myles Garrett and that Browns defensive line could come after him. But I think McCaffrey does enough in this game, out of the backfield. I think having him, healthy right now is going to be a huge plus. And I think they spread around the ball enough. I just think, a game like this is where you're going to see Baker Mayfield's best performance. I think you're going to get it this week. He's always very motivated in spots like this. So I'll take the Panthers to get the win here at home, 24-14.
We got an NFC matchup in Detroit as the Eagles, who a lot of people think are winning the NFC East, take on the Lions, who a lot of people think are going to be improved this year. And in this game, I think the Eagles offense does whatever they want with the football. Watching Hard Knocks, one thing is that the Lions offense is definitely ahead of their defense. Even though the Lions do have Aiden Hutchinson, he's clearly their best player. The problem is when your rookie's clearly your best player, that's not a good sign. I think Miles Sanders has a big game on the ground. I think Jalen Hurts has a big game on the ground and through the air. I think the Eagles get in the 30s. And I think Jared Goff will have a pretty good game against the Eagles. I think the Lions offense does a decent job moving the ball. But the problem is I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up with the Eagles. I think Goff turns the ball over a couple of times. And that's why I got the Eagles beating the Lions 34-20 on Sunday afternoon in Detroit. But, Justin, I got the Eagles. But can Goff keep up with Hurts and help the Lions pull the upset?
I think they can for a while. I got the Eagles winning this one 27-20. I just think, as you mentioned, I think the Lions defense gave up too many points for Goff to keep up, and score him enough points to win this game. They brought in DJ Chark from Jacksonville to come in as well here. Jameson Williams, I know they got him in the draft as well. But yeah, I think the Lions have some offensive talent here. I think they could be able to score against the Eagles. I just don't think their defense will make enough stops in this game. I think Hurts is going to make some plays. Devontae Smith's going to have a big day. AJ Brown. I just don't think it's enough for the Lions. I don't think they'll get any pressure on Jalen Hurts. I do think that the Lions will keep it close. I do think they're starting to go in the right direction. There's still a lot of work to be done. They think the Lions make some explosive plays in this game with DeAndre Swift as well, but just not enough to beat the Eagles here on Sunday.
Got an AFC matchup at MetLife Stadium this week as the Ravens travel up I-95 to face the Jets. And I think this is an interesting game. You got Joe Flacco facing his former team. I do think the Ravens win, but I don't think they blow them out because of some of the injuries the Ravens still have. There's a good chance that J.K. Dobbins won't play. Gus Edwards is going to be out till week 4. In the secondary, Marcus Peters might not play, so Joe Flacco might take advantage of that. The Jets might move the ball a little bit. I don't think they'll score touchdowns, but they'll kick field goals. But when you got Joe Flacco against Lamar Jackson, funny, the guy who replaced Joe Flacco he's going against. But when you have those two quarterbacks going up against each other, it's hard for me to pick washed-up Joe Flacco against a top 10 quarterback. That's why I got the Ravens beating the Jets 24-16 on Sunday. But, Justin, can Joe Flacco get a win his first start against his former team?
No, I don't see it either happening. I got the Ravens 23-14. I know the Ravens still are a little banged up here, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think this defense plays a lot better. I think they come out and make a statement week 1 that they're back, and what happened last year, it's the fluke with all the injuries and all that. I think Flacco's going to have a rough day. We already know Becton's out for the year for the Jets. I think the offensive line could struggle a bit here protecting Joe Flacco. He's not a mobile guy. And I think Lamar Jackson makes enough plays, even without some of his running backs out. I think he spreads the ball out to all of his tight ends. And, they get a lot of catches in this game. I think this Ravens team, is going to win the AFC North this year. And they take care of business. They win by 2 scores against the Jets.
Before we get to the next game, we got to talk about the issue with the Jets. Zach Wilson out 2 to 4 weeks for the Jets. I think this is out until week 4 for the Jets. So this definitely is a loss because you're looking at that schedule. The Browns, you think it could have been a win. Now that very easily could be a loss now that Joe Flacco's not going to play. That Joe Flacco's going to be playing instead of Zach Wilson. And even that Bengals game, that's probably going to be a loss now too.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here for, the Jets. 3 tough opponents to kind of start out here. I know the Browns, without Watson here with Wilson, that's a game they possibly could have won here. But yeah, it's got to be frustrating because Wilson missed some time last year, but I also think it's probably smart to try to give him some time because he did miss some preseason camp. So at least give him that extra time here to get a couple extra weeks of practice before you kind of throw him in the fire here. I know it's a big year for Joe Douglas, year 4 for him, but I think you got to take your time. You really think he's the guy. I think you got to take his time and don't rush him back and put him in a bad spot, even though, he's already missed some time last year as well. But, it's tough. It's a tough call, but I do think trying to make sure he's 100% and you're not throwing the fire is probably the best decision here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what you got to do. I mean, it's tough because you're risking going 0-3. You're risking going 0-3, and we know how hard it is. Only one team in the last 25 years has started 0-3 and made the playoffs. That's the Bills. And only one team since '98 has started 0-3 and made the playoff. That's the Texans with Deshaun Watson in 2018. So very risky not to have him play until week 4. But we got to move on to an NFC South matchup in Atlanta as the Saints travel to Atlanta to play the Falcons. And in this game, I do think this will be close early because I think Winston's going to struggle with some chemistry with his new receivers, with Michael Thomas. I mean, he didn't play with Michael Thomas last year, and Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry, they're new, so I think he'll struggle there. But the biggest reason why I think the Saints are going to win this game by 2 scores is Alvin Kamara. I think Alvin Kamara has a big day on the ground. I think he has a big day through the air. And I think this game is close for, maybe a quarter, maybe a half, 2.5 quarters. But by the end of the 3rd quarter, by the 4th quarter, I think the Saints pull away. And I think they win this game, and I think they win it 24-13 over the Falcons. But, Justin, can the Falcons defense force a couple turnovers from Jameis, and can Mariota make enough plays for the Falcons to win this NFC South battle?
Yeah, maybe early the Falcons, as you mentioned, if Jameis Winston has a couple struggles early on in this game, but the Falcon defense last year they only had 20 takeaways. They weren't great at that last year. Not having Deion Jones, leader who'd been in that locker room, he's gonna be out for a few weeks. I think that can hurt this. That's gonna hurt this Atlanta defense as well. I think maybe Atlanta keeps this thing closer half, but I don't think the defense is gonna be able to do enough defensively here to get enough turnovers here. And Mariota, I think this is a good Saints defense, and I don't think Mariota's be able to make enough plays. I know Arthur Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, likes Mariota, and he was with them, when they were with the Titans together. But I don't think this Atlanta offense has much outside of Kyle Pitts and and Drake London out right now. So I don't think the Falcons, as we know, is probably one of the worst rosters in the league right now. I think they're gonna have a tough time against the Saints getting anything going.
Absolutely. I mean, I think as I said, it's going to be close for a little while, but I think the Saints pull away in the second half. We got a interconference matchup in Washington as Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars face Carson Wentz and the Commanders. And the thing is Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson, they're going at it. We all remember they were together in Philadelphia. I think this is a really, really close game. I think it's a really close competitive game. I think Wentz plays well, but I think he makes a mistake. I think the same thing with Lawrence. I think he plays well and makes a mistake. I think it's really close. It comes down to the end. But I do think the difference in this game is going to be Washington. It's going to be Washington's pass rush with Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat. I think they make a play late in the game and force a key turnover late for the Commanders to win. That's why I got the Commanders beating the Jags 24-20 in Washington on Sunday. But, Justin, can Doug Peterson get a win in his first game as Jags head coach?
I think it'd be difficult. I get Washington as well in this game, 21-17. Yeah, I think, the Jaguars' offensive line was a big problem last year. I think, I know Washington doesn't have Chase Young. I know he's going to miss the first couple weeks of the year here. But I still think that's not going to matter. I think Washington's still going to get enough pressure on Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll make a couple, mistakes here. I did think we're going to see a big step up from, Lawrence this year with a guy like Doug Peterson being his head coach. Travis Etienne's healthy now, and I think that chemistry is really going to help Trevor Lawrence out as well here. Christian Kirk is yes, they were paid for him, but I think it's a nice guy to bring in and help out Lawrence here. But I just don't think I think it's still going to be a tough one here for Jacksonville to win. I do think Washington finds a way to win this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a close game, but I think Washington in the end finds a way to get it done. AFC South matchup in Houston as the Colts travel down to Houston to face the Texans, and the Colts had their way with the Texans last year, beat them by 30 twice, and I think they have their way this Sunday too. I think Jonathan Taylor is a big day on the ground. If Taylor's able to run the ball, I think the Colts win this game by 2 scores because the Texans can't really unleash their pass rush with Jonathan, which is the strength of their team with Jonathan Grenard and Jerry Hughes. And I think the Colts defense gets pressure on Davis Mills, forces a couple mistakes from Davis, forces a couple turns from Davis Mills, and that's why I got the Colts winning this game going away 31-13 over the Texans. But Justin, can the Texans pass rush and Davis Mills carry them to a win against their AFC South rival?
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't see that happening. I got the Colts win this game 28-13. Yeah, I think Davis Mills could have some success as a starting quarterback. Could he get the ball to Brandon Cooks, in this game to help him out here? I just don't. But I think, the way Jonathan Taylor and this Colts offense, we run the football, I don't think Davis Mills is going to have a ton of time or, a ton of opportunities to be able to do that. And yeah, as you mentioned too, I don't think the Texans are going to get much of pass rush. I think Jonathan Taylor, they'd be able to run the ball. Matt Ryan's probably going to have to throw the ball 15, 20 times this game. They're going to be able to rely on Jonathan Taylor in this game. Run the clock here, have the lead kind of, and I just don't think Texas are able to do enough defensively in this game to help that offense kind of keep with them. So I get the Colts 28-13.
We go to the 4:00 games, and we got a NFC North matchup in Minnesota between the Packers and Vikings. First game, the Packers are playing without Devontae Adams. I think this game is going to be like the game they played in November last year. Up and down the field, a lot of points. I don't think either defense is going to stop these offenses. I think that combination of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones is going to have success on the ground. And I think that the Vikings are going to have success with Dalvin Cook and with Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson. I do think the difference in this game, though, is I think the Vikings got the better skill guys. And I think that's the big difference. And I think they have the ball in their hands last, and they do what they did last year: drive down the field and get a game-winning field goal. That's why I got the Vikings winning 31-28. But I really think whichever quarterback has the ball in their hands last wins this game. But I got the Vikings beating the Packers 31-28. But Justin, can Aaron Rodgers continue to be great without Devontae Adams and lead the Packers to a Week 1 win in Minnesota?
I got the Vikings win this one 20-24. Aaron Rodgers, he makes everybody else around him. He's been very good at that. But I think it's going to take some time for for some of those new wide receivers with Dobbs and Watson to kind of get them going and kind of get some chemistry with them here. So I think they could, they could be a little off this week. We saw Packers last year, Week 1. They got throttled by the Saints, 38-3.
They're crushed, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get crushed like they did last year, but I could see them kind of being off like they did last year in Week 1. And I think Cousins makes some plays this year too, because I think Kevin O'Connell's going to be very good for him, and I think this relationship's going to be very good. I think Dalvin Cook can beat them on the ground this week, so I think the Packers do fall to Minnesota this week.
Yeah, I think it's a really competitive game. I think it's going to go either way. There's a reason it's the 4:25 game, so it should be on Fox, because it should be a really, really good game. Now going to the big game on CBS at 4:25, and that is the Chiefs against the Cardinals. You got the recently paid Kyler Murray against Patrick Mahomes, and I think Mahomes struggles a little bit early with that offense, but I think he moves the ball against a Cardinals defense that lost Chandler Jones, didn't replace him. So I think the Chiefs get in the 30s in this game, and I also do think the Cardinals move the ball because the Chiefs lost Tyrann Mathieu and Tre'Davious Ward, and they didn't really replace them either. So I think the Cardinals move the ball well in this game too. But I think it comes right down to the end where either the Chiefs get a first down to win the game or the Chiefs defense makes a play to win the game. And that's why I got the Chiefs going to 1-0, winning 31-24 over the Cardinals. But Justin, can Mahomes struggle a little bit? Is Mahomes going to struggle a little bit with his new offensive weapons? And will Murray make enough plays for the Cardinals to pull the upset?
I could see it. We saw the Chiefs get off to a very slow start last year. I have a very similar score as you. I got the Chiefs win this game 30-24. But I think Mahomes is too talented. I just don't think the Cardinals defense will be able to make enough stops. I think Mahomes kind of does whatever he wants. Again, I could see this game, taking a quarter for Mahomes, that offense to really get in rhythm here. Maybe they kick a couple field goals in the first quarter. But after that, I think that offense will kind of figure it out. I think Mahomes will spread around, get everybody involved. Hopefully they get a Clyde Edwards-Helaire going this year. I think that'd be huge if they can get him out of the backfield. That's kind of something they've been missing the last couple of years. It's been kind of that running back. It'd be huge if they can for him. And I think this is a game where Arizona's really going to miss DeAndre Hopkins. And I think it's also a coaching mismatch, Andy Reid against Cliff Kingsbury. I think Cliff Kingsbury could be out-coached in this game like usual.
Oh, yeah. I could very easily see Andy Reid out-coaching Cliff Kingsbury. But we got an AFC West matchup at SoFi Stadium. Another good game at SoFi Stadium this weekend as the Raiders travel to SoFi Stadium to face the Chargers. And if you like points, this is the game for you. You got two really good quarterbacks. You got weapons. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Then you look at the Raiders. It's Devontae Adams' first game with the Raiders. You got Hunter Renfrow. You got Darren Waller. You have all the weapons you need. I mean, it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fun game. There's gonna be a lot of points scored in the game. I think it's gonna be up and down, back and forth, up and down the field. But I think in the end, I think the difference in this game is gonna be is the Raiders are gonna have the ball at the end, and that Chargers pass rush of Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa are gonna make a big play to either force a turnover or force a fourth down stop to get the Chargers to win. That's why I got the Chargers winning the game 34-27. But Justin, I got the Chargers, but could Derek Carr lead the Raiders to their second straight win over the Chargers?
I think they do. I got the Raiders 27-23. It doesn't sound like J.C. Jackson will be playing, so that could, I know that the Chargers have a great secondary still, but I think that could be a big loss for them in this game. And I think Josh Jacobs could have a big game on the ground. I think, Carr and Adams, that chemistry, I think, it's going to be there. I think Devontae Adams has a big game through the air. Carr to Adams. I mean, again, I think for Carr too, this is really the first time, in his whole career, he's not had to worry about trade rumors. And I think that's going to be huge for him. I think it's going to really help him in this game. He can just go out there freely. Again, he's got a guy like Josh McDaniels now as his coach. And, he really hasn't had a great head coach. I know they had one really good year with Jack Del Rio, but that was really about it. I think Derek Carr right now is in a really good spot with this team. I think Carr has a big day. I think he's a big year. I'm excited to kind of see what McDaniels does with Hunter Renfrow because I think he's going to be used like a Julio Edelman type guy. So I think the Raiders go on the road and they knock off the Chargers.
Should be a really good AFC West battle on Sunday afternoon. But we got Russell Wilson playing his first game with the Broncos, and the NFL definitely got it right because guess who he's playing? He's playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle for his first game as a Denver Bronco. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a fun game early on. I think it will stay competitive for maybe the first half, but in the second half, the cream will rise. The cream will rise to the top, and the Broncos will win this game. Javonte Williams will have a good game on the ground. I think Wilson will throw a couple touchdown passes, and I think the Broncos defense forced a couple turnovers from Geno Smith. That's why I got the Broncos going to 1-0 and beating the Seahawks 31-16. But Justin, can the Seahawks spoil Russell Wilson's return to Seattle?
It wouldn't surprise me. I have the Broncos win this game 21-17. I think this is the best game we're going to see the Seattle play all year. I really think they want to go in there. I think they want to knock off Russell Wilson this on Monday night here, and spoil his return. I could see Wilson and that offense being a little off early on. There's a lot of young receivers on that team. New head coach is coaching his first game as an NFL head coach. I could see some struggles there in early on. I think Pete Carroll's got that team motivated. I think Geno Smith makes a couple plays to keep Seahawks in it in this game. I just think Seattle's going to play their game of the year. It's not going to be enough to beat Denver, but I do think they keep it close. They keep it competitive.
I could see it. Russell Wilson's return to Seattle. I think the big thing is going to be is what will the fans' reaction for Russell Wilson be? Is he going to get cheered or is he going to get booed? I think it's going to be I don't think it'll be as much as Brady got cheered when he went back to Foxborough, for obvious reasons. But I think it's going to be a ton of cheers for Russell Wilson when he gets back to Seattle on Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it should. I think it did a lot for that organization. Again, he had a ton of success there with Schneider, Pete Carroll, and the Legion of Boom. They had some really good teams there. So, yeah, I think so. And I know there's some stuff came out today about kind of the divorce and how that all went down, but I still think the Seattle fans, will embrace Russell Wilson in a good way. And I think, I think it'll be mostly cheers for him.
Absolutely. I'm expecting nothing less. I'm expecting a ton of cheers for Russell Wilson on Monday night. But the Yankees got a huge series this weekend in the Bronx against the Rays. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
All righty, so the Yankees right now, 4.5 games in first place ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays. And I think the lead story for the Yankees is how good Aaron Judge has been, and why he needs to clearly be the MVP. I don't want to hear about Ohtani. Judge should clearly be the MVP for this team. 54 home runs, I think got about 115 RBIs for Aaron Judge. I mean, and the home runs he hit were so huge in those two Yankee wins. To lead off the game on Sunday, and then the huge home run he hit in the 6th inning against the Twins. Right now, there is if you're not voting for Aaron Judge, I don't know who you're voting for MVP.
Yeah, his WAR's a 9 right now. His WAR, if you really want to, and I don't take that huge in consideration, but I think it's like the highest in the recent era, like a recent time. So It's a 9. What would this Yankee team be without him? Maybe a max 70-win team?
I think
there was a point where
I think they'd still probably be fighting for a wild card spot.
Yeah, I guess it's the starting pitching, but like there was a week there where Aaron Judge was the only guy that knocked in a run.
Exactly. Yeah.
And have you seen the lineup today?
I know. It's not good.
It's bad. You want to hold on? It's Oswald Cabrera leading things off. You got Judge CHing, Glaber batting third. Guess who's batting fourth?
Who?
Guess who's batting fourth? Ronald Guzman.
Are you kidding me? Ronald Guzman batting fourth? Are you kidding me?
He's playing first, yep. And Duar's batting fifth and left. Connor for left was batting sixth at third. Florial's batting seventh at center. Higashioka is catching eighth. And then Oswald Peraza is batting ninth. That's the
lineup today.
Game, that's
right?
for game one.
That's the first game. That's game one.
That's
game two should be a little bit better because I bet Stanton's going to play in game two.
He's been lost.
That's another thing. John Starlo Stanton has been absolutely terrible since he's gone off the DL. 4 for 38. And that's the problem with this lineup. When this lineup was doing really well, they had Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton. They were all hitting the ball really, really well. Now you got Rizzo on the DL, and you got Stanton. You got Stanton not hitting at all.
No, he's been horrible. And yeah, Judge has been carrying this lineup the last pretty much all year. But he's been their saving grace for most of the year. And yeah, he's been far and away the best player, in Major League Baseball this year. He's absolutely been on himself, and he's won. I know we have not talked about a ton this year, but he's gonna get Maris's record. And
he's getting. He's getting to 62. He's definitely getting to 62.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx him with him getting an injury. If he gets injured in a couple of weeks, I don't want to be the guy that jinxes him. But yeah, and again, because I don't really take Bonds' record. I don't think with the steroid and all that. So, he's been unbelievable. He's if for some odd reason they do not resign him, Kazman better have a next big option because they'll be lost without him in that lineup next year.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way Judge should be re-signed. We know about Stanton's struggles. I think it's something that's been interesting that's happened in the last two games is Clay Holmes has done pretty well coming off the DL. Yes, he struggled a little bit in that game against the Rays when he closed that game out against the Rays, but he was good on Monday when he closed out the game against the Twins. Do you have Clay Holmes? Is Clay Holmes back to being the closer now? It's crazy to think that Clay Holmes is going to be back to being the closer, and I think by default, just because he's been hot right now, I keep him as the closer pretty much by default because I wanted him done as the closer about a month ago.
Yeah, I was there with there too, but yeah, with Chapman I don't know what the heck I don't know why you're getting a tattoo in the middle of the season and with all that, but for the moment, yeah, I think you got to go back to Clay Holmes. For now, he's looked really good, and I thought maybe that injury was just trying to get him fixed, but he's looked pretty good so far coming out of the bullpen. So, yeah, I think for now you got to stick with him. Lou Trevino has been very good too, and he's been a closer in the past. I wouldn't maybe mind seeing him get an opportunity or two, if they need it. But for right now, Clay Holmes, I think right now could I'll take him back at the closer role at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. The way he's been the last two, it's amazing how it's like two outings and you want him back. But hey, if they can get some consistency out of the closer, you'll take it. But we got a big series this weekend against the Rays. They lost 2 out of 3 of the Rays this week, but this is a big series against the Rays this week. You got Montez, Tyone, and Cole going this week, and luckily for the Yankees, they're going to should miss Rasmussen. I don't know if that's going to happen for sure, but they're going to miss Rasmussen, and obviously they're going to miss McClanahan. So that's a big break for the Yankees. So that's why they got to take advantage this week. This is a week the Yankees got to put the division away because I'm assuming it's going to be like 5.5. I'm assuming they're going to be up. So I assume they'll win at least the next 2 out of 3 against the Twins. So I'm assuming it's going to be they're going to have like a 5.5 game lead going into this series. If they could take 2 out of 3, I think they're in great shape if they're up 6.5 on the Rays. But if they lose 2 out of 3, it's probably going to be 4.5. And if they get swept, it's probably going to be 2.5. So this is a big chance for the Yankees to put this division away this week. And I think they do. I don't think they win. They sweep them, but I think they take 2 out of 3. And the biggest reason why is, it's not because they've really improved that much. I feel like it's the injury the Rays have to McClanahan in the rotation. I think the injury to Wander Franco is not going to be. I don't think Brandon Lau and Wander Franco, those guys are going to be in the lineup either. So I think those injuries are going to be the factor. So I think because the Rays are a little banged up, I think the Yankees do take 2 out of 3 in the series against Tampa.
You're very confident. I'm not. I think the Yankees won 1 out of 3. I have seriously lost all hope in this baseball team.
Really? Wow.
All
hope. They still 5
much.
games in first place. I know they haven't played well, but all hope.
Pretty much. I think Houston's going to beat them in 5 games. If they make in the ALCS, I think Houston beats them in 5 games. I don't think they have any chance against Houston. Maybe they do win the division. Nobody's hitting besides Judge, and that's been the problem since late June. Like, I don't think that at this point it's not changing. So, in that lineup right now, no Rizzo now either. I don't. Where's the offense coming from? They have not hit Corey Kluber at all. I think his career A against the Yankees just above 2. You know, maybe you could hit a Springs and not Springs. I think Springs going tonight. Drew Rasmussen's going Saturday.
Oh, he's going Saturday now?
Going Saturday, yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't know Rasmussen was going, man.
Yeah. And then
I might have to change my pick. I might have to go I'll still go 2 out of 3 because they obviously won't see McClanahan. I'll be confident. I'll be the optimist. I'll still go 2 out of 3. They'll lose the Rasmussen start because I think Cole's going on Sunday. So I think they win that start. And I'll give them Friday. I'll give them Friday with Kluber and Montas. I'll be generous. I know you're not giving them Friday, but I'll be generous and give them that because Frankie Montas didn't pitch that poorly in his last start against the Rays. So I think he's figuring out a little bit. So I'll be generous and I'll give them that game on Friday. I'll give them the Friday and Sunday game. I'm definitely not giving the Saturday game.
No, I think Monta's been better. I just think they're going to lose that game 2-1.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Like they've been losing recently.
Yeah. Where's it? Because the starting pitching has been pretty good. It's just they can't hit the baseball. And that's why I have no confidence right now. I just don't know who's going to hit beside Judge. And if the guy's not on above Judge, why are you going to pitch Aaron Judge? He's just going to get the Barry Bonds treatment. Like that, that's the thing. I know Tyone's been pitching better, but again, I could see them losing 2-1 or 3-2. And then Sunday, again, the same thing. Could see them losing 2-1 again. Like that's kind of been the issue. I have no confidence the team's going to hit the baseball right now. They always mash against the Twins. Like, whatever reason, they just destroy the Twins for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's been years and years, different teams. For some reason, for years, they've been in the Twins' head. For years, they have been in the Minnesota Twins' head. For years.
Yeah, it's been for the last, 20 years or so. And it's like, I was a team that changed a lot, and they've had some pretty good teams, but I don't know.
It's kind of similar with the Astros with us. I think the Astros are in the Yankees' head. The Yankees have been living rent-free in the Twins' head for 2 decades.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great comparison. Yeah, the Twins just could never get over the hump against the Yankees, and it's vice versa. The Yankees against the Astros, they can't figure it out against them. So, yeah, and I know for the better half of the year too, the Yankees have had some success against Tampa Bay, but last weekend the Rays kind of got them, and I think this weekend the Rays aren't intimidated by the Yankees. They haven't in the last couple of years. I don't think that changes this weekend. I think the Rays come in here and again, Kevin Cash is such a great manager. That team is just feisty. That team never goes away, and I think that's this weekend. I just think they don't go away. They're going to keep trying to chip away at that lead, and I think that's why they get 2 out of 3 this weekend. That I don't care who's in that lineup for Tampa Bay. They find a way. That's something the Yankees did till late June, and now they just for most nights they can't find a way.
And you made a good point about the Rays, and that's why even though the Blue Jays lineup is better, I'm definitely more concerned about the Rays. I'd rather face the Blue Jays in the playoffs than the Rays because I know that Kevin Cash is not afraid to play the Yankees. They beat the Yankees 2 years ago. The year they went to the World Series, they are not afraid of the Yankees at all. I think the Blue Jays could be a little intimidated going to Yankee Stadium. In the month of October, the Rays will have no fear going to Yankee Stadium. That's why I absolutely fear the Rays more than I fear the Blue Jays.
I completely agree with you. That Rays team, they're not scared going to the Bronx there in October. They will. Yeah, that young Blue Jays team could be. I could totally see them being a little frightened going in the Yankee Stadium. Especially the rookie manager or I guess interim manager. I could totally see that happen. Yeah, I'd much rather face the Blue Jays than the Tampa Bay Rays. I just think that Rays team, Corey Kluber too, has got a lot of postseason experience. I just think that Rays team could be very scary. And it's always tough too to go down there and play in the Trop as well with those field dimensions and with the dome and all that. So yeah, I'd much rather face the Blue Jays than the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, absolutely, without question, without question. I mean, the Rays. I mean, they're going to be. I know that they're probably going to get. I think they're going to get Wander Franco back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's supposed to be getting closer. I think he is getting closer. September 13th is what CBS Sports has. He's expected to be out till September 13th. So, yeah, so maybe next week it sounds like, maybe they'll have him back. So, yeah, he'll have plenty of time to get ready and kind of get some rhythm back for the playoffs. That bringing him back too, we know he's going to be young. He's a young superstar in this game. So, yeah, absolutely. That Rays team, I would assume McClanahan's going to be back. And I don't know what's going on with Glass now. I know he was throwing some bullpens and all that. I don't know.
I've kind of accepted. I think Glasnow's done. I think Glasnow's done for the year.
Yeah. Yeah. So more than likely, I guess we'll see. But if they can somehow get him back, or at least just be a bullpen guy as well, out of the bullpen for the playoffs, I think that's a huge kind of plus for him as well. So, yeah, it's the Tampa Bay would be a very, very tough one for the Yankees to get by.
Exactly. So we got a humongous game in Austin on Saturday afternoon. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at Shamrock Home Inspections.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All right, we got a huge game in Austin this Saturday as the Alabama Crimson Tide head to Austin to face the Texas Longhorns. And in this game, I think the crowd will be into it early. Maybe Texas, they get them a little excited. Maybe they stay in it a little bit early. But by the end of the second quarter and in the second half, Alabama's going to pull away in this game. I think Bryce Young throws three or four touchdown passes. I think Will Anderson. I think other guys start getting pressure. I think they try to, obviously take Will Anderson out of the game early. But once other guys get pressure on Quinn Ewers, I think Will Anderson's going to start teeing off and get 2 or 3 sacks. I got Alabama winning this game convincingly by 4 touchdowns. I got Alabama. I know Texas is trying to trying to get back. Bijan Robinson is really good, but I think Bama. Nick Saban. He's going to make sure. I tell you, I'm going to guarantee you one thing: Bijan Robinson will not have over 100 yard rushing in this game. Guaranteed. Bijan Robinson doesn't go for over 100 yards. And I think Quinn Ewers throws a couple interceptions. That's why I got Bama beating Texas in Austin 45-17. But Justin, can Robinson, Ken Worthy, and Ken Ewers have great games and help Texas get their biggest win? I mean, this is gonna be a long time since they won the national title against USC.
Yeah, then it happened Saturday. I got Bama 41-17. Texas offensive line's been horrible the last few years, and now you're facing the most dominant defensive player we've seen in a while, in Will Anderson. They ain't stopping him. And again, I think even you try to double team up, somebody else on Alabama was going to get after Quinn Ewers in this game. I think it's to be a long day for Quinn Ewers. I'm with you too. I don't think Saban's going to key on Robinson all day. I don't think he's going to be able to do much at all. Worthy, I think they're going to be able to slow down. So I think it's to be a long day for the Longhorns. I'm interested to see how Quinn Ewers does, body language. This NIL stuff, the $5 million, the way kind of Ohio State left early to go to Ohio State, that's something. The body language ain't great and all that. Teammates turn on him, I don't know, but I think Quinn Ewers gonna have a rough day, and I also think the Steve Sarkisian was saying, this game doesn't matter for us to get to the Big 12 championship. Big 12 championship game. This game doesn't impact the SEC championship game. It's like he's talking like this game doesn't really matter. So I don't know.
Steve, you're coaching at Texas. At Texas, when they had Vince Young and Roy Williams, back when they were great, and when Brown had it going there, and they had Colt McCoy, and they had Jordan Shipley. Back in those days, they competed for national titles. If you want to get this team, I know you're probably not going to win the game. You know you're probably not going to win the game. But if you want to get your team at that level, you cannot say this game doesn't matter. I mean, come on. You're not Texas Tech. You're Texas. This game matters. You cannot say that as the head coach of Texas. Come on now.
Yeah, that's how far Texas has fallen the last 15 years or so. That's, I just didn't get it either. I'm like, I don't know how that's pumping up your guys at all. But yeah, you're at Texas. You're supposed to be competing for national championships. That hasn't happened. So yeah, I just think Alabama's going to come in this game. I think Nick Saban's going to roll. I think it's going to be a long day for Steve Sarkisian and that Texas offense line. I just think Will Anderson's going to live in that backfield. I think he'll have 3-4 sacks in this game. And again, I think he's going to make a great push for his Heisman campaign. I think he's going to have a great game today on Saturday on national TV on Fox.
Absolutely. I got Bama winning, and I got them covering. But we got an SEC matchup in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina Gamecocks travel to Fayetteville to face KJ Jefferson and the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I think this game will be close early, but I'm taking the better quarterback to win. And I think Arkansas wins it by 2 scores because I think they clearly have a better quarterback. Spencer Rattler was not impressive in that Georgia State game. Neither was the South Carolina running game. But the way Spencer Rattler played, South Carolina will be the fifth best team in the SEC East. They'll be worse than Georgia. They'll be worse than Tennessee. They'll be worse than Kentucky, and they'll be worse than Florida. The only teams they'll be better than is Missouri and Vanderbilt. Because Spencer Rattler 2 picks against Georgia State, that cannot happen. And if he plays that way against Arkansas, they'll lose the game by at least 3 or 4 scores. But I do think he's decent. I think he plays a little bit better. But in this game, I'm going with the quarterback that I trust the most. I'm going with KJ Jefferson, and that's why I get the Razorbacks winning 31-17 over the Gamecocks. But Justin, can Spencer Rattler lead the Gamecocks into Fayetteville and pull an upset?
I don't see it either. I don't like the way Rattler's looked. I know it was week 1, and I know he played like half the season last year, so maybe there's a rust. But yeah, there are 2 bad interceptions. The running game got nothing going. It's a Georgia State team that is getting better under Sean Elliott. That's a young program. They've been playing well the last couple of years, but yeah, their special teams, the defense played really well. Their offense really didn't do much at all. So yeah, I'm very concerned against the Arkansas team that's very physical on both sides of the football. I think that could cause some problems. Rattler got sacked a couple times as well. So I think Arkansas with KJ Jefferson, who played pretty well. I was very, Cincinnati, I thought, for all the guys they lost, played pretty tough and had a couple opportunities to win that game last week. But yes, South Carolina showed they're 3 for 14 on 3rd down. I just don't think South Carolina's have too much success in this game. Yeah, KJ Jefferson makes enough plays. I do worry a bit, though, because Arkansas runs him so much that last year he banged up half the year. Like, I hope that they start giving him less carries because, again, like last year, he's going to be banged up all year. But, yeah, I think Arkansas wins by 2 scores.
Got a very, very interesting matchup in Pittsburgh this week as number 24 Tennessee travels to play Pitt. And you got 2 decent quarterbacks in this game. I think this is going to be a really, really close competitive game. But I'm not taking an ACC team over an SEC team, and I like Hendon Hooker. I think Hendon Hooker is going to have a good year as Tennessee's quarterback. I'll take him over Keaton Slovis. I think this is going to be a really close competitive game. I think this game comes right down to the end, but I got Tennessee beating Pitt in Pittsburgh at home in Pittsburgh, 30-27.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had Tennessee as well, 34-28. Yeah, I think it needs to be a wild one. I think you're going to see 2 teams get up and down the field like Pitt did last week with West Virginia. That was a wild one. Hayden Hooker got 10 different guys involved in that game. I think, he's going to get a lot more, I think they're all going to contribute once again this week. I thought Slovis looked pretty good. I thought Pitt got back to the running game, something they didn't really do a ton last year. I did think Slovis looked pretty good last week against West Virginia, who's, still building, trying to get things going there. But yeah, the SEC is just a totally different monster than any other conference right now. Even the Big Ten, because they've destroyed every Big Ten team once they've gotten the playoffs. So I think Tennessee could be right there as knocking on the door for the second spot there in the SEC East. I think they take care of business on the road. There was a fun one last year. Tennessee, Joe Milton was still the starting quarterback. Hayden Hooker started the next week. So I think Tennessee gets it done on the road this week.
Got a battle in Texas as Houston travels to Lubbock to play Texas Tech. I think this is a really, really close, competitive game, but I think Clayton Tune makes more plays than Donovan Smith. I think it's a really close, competitive game, but I think Tune makes more plays than Donovan Smith. And I think the Cougars go to 2-0, beating another Texas school in a close game. I got Houston going to 2-0 on the season. But Justin, can Donovan Smith lead the Red Raiders to a 2-0 start?
Yeah, I get the Red Raiders just win this one. I think it's tough, especially in any sport, to win back-to-back kind of close road wins like Houston did last week. I didn't think they looked that impressive. I thought the Roadrunners did a very good job against Nathaniel Dell. Red Raiders, we know, not the greatest defensive team. They've gotten better the last couple of years since Cliff Klingberry got fired. They're starting to get a little bit better. But I think Donovan Smith makes enough plays in this game. I'm not a big Dana Holgorsen fan as head coach. I don't really like him that much. I know Houston's got a lot of talent, but I think Texas Tech at home, I think they figure it out. Lubbock's always a tough place to go win to, go get a win at. So I think Donovan Smith in that offense, I think they figure it out. The Red Raiders always have some explosive wide receivers. I think they get it done here at home on Saturday.
We got the big game in the SEC as the number 20 Kentucky Wildcats, led by Will Levis, Connecticut's own Will Levis, head down to the Swamp to face Anthony Richardson and the Florida Gators. And we know what Anthony Richardson did last week. He put that team on his back to beat one of the, well, I'm not saying the best, but one of the best teams in the Pac-12 in Utah. He put that team on his back to beat that team. And I think this is going to be a great game this week. I think it's going to be a close, competitive game. I think both quarterbacks are going to play really well. And I don't even care if Chris Rodriguez plays or not. I still got the Gators. I'm riding that Anthony Richardson train. They're a 4.5-point favorite this week. I'm riding the train. I got the Florida Gators beating another really good team at home. I got the Florida Gators beating the Kentucky Wildcats 31-27. But Justin, can CT's own Will Levis lead Kentucky to an upset win in the Swamp?
I think he can, but I got the Gators 27-21. I think, in this game, Chris Rodriguez, I don't think he is going to play. I think, because it's because it sounds like it's a school matter, more a university matter, more than a football one. So, Mark Stoops doesn't even know when Chris Rodriguez is coming back. They could not run the football last week in Miami of Ohio. Will Levis got sacked 4 times. I think Florida up front didn't impress me last week. I was very impressed because I think for Bill Napier, the way that this culture is already kind of changing. Again, two of the best, Utah, and now you got Kentucky this week. These are, those are 2 programs that, that have been there forever. Their culture has been very good. And if you can turn 2-0, I think it's a huge boost there for Florida. Now, I don't think they should be all the way at number 12 at this moment, but I don't like preseason polls. I don't know. Again, now with the college football polls, I don't even like it because the AP poll doesn't even matter anymore. But anyways, I think Florida does enough. I texted you last week. I think if Anthony Richards does what he has to do, if he holds on the football this year, doesn't make that dumb mistake, I think he's the first quarterback. I think he's probably the first quarterback team off that board because I do think there's a lot of Cam Newton comparison in him. I think if Florida could go 10-2 somehow, I could see him being right there with the Heisman. I think Stroud or Young are going to beat him because of the record and all that. But I could see Anthony Richardson sitting there in New York on that final night, maybe finishing 3rd place. So I just think Florida's going to be a little bit too much. Think about it too. When's the last time Florida this would be a bigger win for Florida than Kentucky. Kentucky's won 2 of the last 4 for some of these Gator seniors that are in 5th year. They don't want to be that first class to lose to Kentucky and who knows how long. So I think there's a lot. I think there's for the Gators. I think it couldn't be a lot more for them. Now Kentucky too. I think it's right there. Mark Stoops done a fantastic job, but I think Florida finds a way to get the job done.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really, really close competitive game, but I got the Gators winning close on Saturday night. Now to another game on Saturday night, which is the ABC primetime game. And you know why it's the ABC primetime game, because they got the Lincoln Riley-led USC Trojans heading to Stanford to play the Stanford Cardinal. And I think USC wins this game. I think they showcase their talent in this game. I think they win this game, and I think they win this game by 2 or 3 scores. I think Caleb Williams is a big game. I think Jordan Addison has a big game. I think Dye has a big game on the ground, and I do think they contain EJ. EJ Jones might have his yards, but I think they contain him. I'm going with a team with more talent and the better quarterback, and that's why I got your favorite team, the USC Trojans, winning 34-17 over the Stanford Cardinal. But Justin, can EJ Jones have another huge day on the ground and lead Stanford to their second straight win over USC? And don't forget, this was the game that got Clay Helton fired last year.
You're really drinking that Lincoln Riley Kool-Aid.
Oh, I am drinking the Lincoln Riley Kool-Aid. I want to see him succeed, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Again, it's good for college football. He's there. I just, again, up front, I don't think this team's not there yet. The running backs actually, EJ Smith, who is Emmett Smith's kid.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he had a really good week last week. I think he's gonna have a breakout year for Stanford. Tanner McGee. I think Stanford up front. I know Stanford hasn't been great the last couple of years, but I think up front to physicality, I think they keep this thing close. I was saying to you last week, I still think Utah's the best team in the Pac-12. They lost a tough game at the Swamp on a Saturday night. You got to give them credit for actually going down there and playing. I think I got to see USC up front first. I got to see their offensive line, who's really showed the last couple of years. Defensive line, too. I kid the physicality. I think it still does mean something in college football. I think, Smith could have a big day on the ground. I think McKee does enough in the air. I do think USC is a little bit more talented, but Stanford at home, they've won the last 2 in the series. I think Stanford does find enough in this game to keep it close, but I'll go with Trojan 31-27.
Ooh, you're going. You are a USC hater, man. You're going.
I've never been a big USC fan.
I know you're not a big USC fan, but I just feel like they got more talent in this game. They clearly have more talent in this game. Caleb Williams is better than what Stanford has at quarterback.
They do, but I up front, the offensive and defensive line, I think Stanford could be a little bit better, and I think if Caleb Williams doesn't have time to throw, it's going to be very tough. I think he will, but yeah, they probably do have the best skill. They're right there with Ohio State and Alabama, but up front, I don't think they can match with those teams yet. And I think that's where he didn't really improve the team the offseason, and that's where I have concern for them. I think that's why Utah – I think Utah will beat them by 2 scores.
Oh, whoa! No. There's no way Utah beats USC by 2 scores. Come on, USC's got the better athletes. They got the better quarterback. You saw Cam Rising throw that terrible interception against Florida. No. To me, USC is number 1. Utah number 2 in the Pac-12.
I'm still going Utah number 1. Now the interesting is too is it's the best 2 records I think they're starting with this year in the Pac-12 too. So if they go 9-0 and the loser goes 8-1, they'll meet again in the Pac-12 championship, even though they're in the best division, the same division. So they may face off twice, but I still think Utah's the best team. I think physicality wise, I think USC will struggle. It's October 15th, whatever time that game is. I think USC will struggle.
Oh, we'll see. That's gonna be interesting to see. I can't wait till when USC and Utah go up against each other. You and Jace will be big Utes fans in that game. So, but we got a matchup between the Pac-12 and the Big 12 in Stillwater this week as Arizona State faces Oklahoma State, and I think that Spencer Sanders is going to completely outplay Emory Jones. I think Emory Jones is going to come down to earth this week, and I got Oklahoma State. You really give a bunch of points against in week 1. I got to win in this game 35-20. But can Emory Jones lead Arizona State to an upset win in Stillwater?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think Arizona State's a mediocre Pac-12 team, and Pac-12 is not a great conference. I think Oak State, I think they can play a lot better this week. Spencer Sanders played really well. I think that offense is, with a lot of those guys coming back, I think, with all the skills they have offensively, I think you're going to get back. You're going to see a more kind of Mike Gundy. They're going to put up a lot of points this year. I think it's going to be a tough day for Arizona State. We kind of know what Emory Jones is about. He's kind of had a lot of inconsistencies in his career with Florida. I think that continues this week against the Oklahoma State team. Tough to go to Stillwater and win a Saturday night. I don't see it happening. I think Oklahoma State wins that game 34-17.
Now we got a sneaky good game on Saturday night down in Utah, Provar, right?
Yeah,
BYU
Provar.
place, Provar, down in Provar.
Provar.
Baylor travels up there to go play USC. Got to give Baylor credit for playing that game, and I think that's going to be a really, really close competitive game. But I think Christopher Brooks can be the difference. I think he's going to have a big game on the ground. And I think I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going with the BYU Cougars to beat Baylor in this game. But, Justin, can Blake Shapen lead the Bears to a 2-0 start?
I'm with you. I got the BYU Cougars going to get the win. I think BYU's a good team. Jaron Hall's back. Yeah, Christopher Brooks had a really solid week last week on the ground against South Florida, which they did. BYU struggled against South Florida last year, and I thought South Florida was a little bit better this year. But yeah, I think BYU takes care of business Saturday night. It's tough to go to Provo. It's another, it's tough to go on the road and win college football. Provo's another tough spot to go win at. Blake Shapen, I thought, again, played well. They played an Albany team that's not very good. I think they went 1-10 last year in the FCS level. So they took care of business. They put up 70. I think Baylor's offense to be better this year, but I'll take BYU on a Saturday night at home. I think Jaron Hall plays well enough. I think up front, I think both teams are very physical, have, great up front, but I'll go with the Cougars. They got a tough schedule coming up. They got Oregon on the road next week. They got Notre Dame in Vegas coming up in October. They got Arkansas home this year. Like, BYU's got a tough schedule. This is one that I think they got to win against a good Baylor team.
Absolutely. So it should be interesting to see what happens this weekend in college football. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin and Alfredo, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week previewing Week 2 of the NFL season. We'll be talking more Yankees, and we'll preview Week 3 of the college football season. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the poles, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.